right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Ranting Cast. We are live with Dave and Adams here over on Transit Road, outside the corner of Sheridan. You can get there off Transit, you can get there off Sheridan. Come on in, stop the store. It's awesome. There's so much stuff here. There's Sabre stuff, Bill stuff. There's magic cards. I guess that's the whole thing. Magic cards. So we're looking at Captain. This is your one right there. Star Trek stuff, Superman, spot where we were pointing at. So, again, we're here live from Dave and Adams, and I am with my buddy Austin and my buddy Steve. You probably, do it right. Oh, Steve, stop that. And Steve, he obviously know him on the warpath. So, tonight is draft night. Sabres are drafting 9th as of now. They're drafting 16th. And 28th. And that's a lot of picks in the first round. And earlier, it's reported that Buffalo almost made a trade. And they only picked up Matt Murray from Pittsburgh, along with swapping 16th pick we had for Ottawa 7th overall. And it sounds like Ottawa would have kept some money. And Ottawa would have lost in that deal, just because we gave up something on pick. And Murray's, he's all right, but he would have been a goalie. But I didn't give him 7th overall. And it didn't happen because Matt Murray said no, he would not sign off on it. He has no trade clause modified. Buffalo's been on his list. They're probably on everybody's list. I'm thinking that that's why that the Brincat trade went down. What was Chicago doing there? Trading the Brincat for the 7th overall pick. He's got 241 goals a year, including this last year's 24.
But they're rebuilding. I mean, everyone on that team is pretty much, on the market. Like after the whole, scandal last year, Stan Bowman, they're kind of just blowing the whole thing up. Kane is getting up there. Kane's are getting up there. They both have 1 year left on their deal.
But you're giving a 24-year-old 2-time 41 goals scorer. I mean, we're saying that it's a Buffalo back could have made the deal, but maybe they didn't because I'm saying that's a year too late for that kind of player.
But he's correct me if I'm wrong. He UFA.
RFA.
I thought he was UFA.
He will be. He got one more RFA year to go. So that's what the big concern is. He can out even sign it.
Yeah.
So Buffalo would want to talk.
That's the thing is, if Chicago's rebuilding, are they going to resign? By the time they build, he's going to be 29 to 30.
So Ottawa probably got screwed the most out of this.
Yeah, I said on
If he doesn't sign.
I said on Twitter before I headed over here that if I were the Sabres, I would not have made that trade for the Brincat. Not that it wasn't an outrageous price. It really wasn't. It's just the Sabres aren't at that top.
Right.
And the Senators might be slightly ahead in their build from the Sabres, but I'm not sure they're in the spot for it either.
Yeah. I think the RFA status is probably what it is. Now maybe Buffalo already said, hey, would you be willing to sign your long term the first time I said no, I'm UFA, I'm done. So maybe that's what they're in it. I can't imagine to a lot of it, yes, small side, but you don't know what players are thinking these days, So that's wild. So Buffalo had the 7th, 9th, and 28th, and maybe they package that up. Maybe the 9th and 28th and look top 5, but I know there's a lot of talk Buffalo wants to. So Buffalo's drafting 9th overall as of now. Do we see that now we heard this trade almost happen? That it was pretty much a done deal. And Murray said no. Which is why does Pittsburgh? I'm sorry. Why does Ottawa even talk to us until we talk to Murray saying, listen, we're going to talk to Buffalo? He said no matter what you do, I'm not going to Buffalo. He's still Buffalo's going to be talking. Or at least he's been talking to Buffalo. So that confuses me just a little bit.
I don't know. Maybe they thought they could get him to waive.
Did you ask that before you put the hours in the work? Saying we're going to keep half the salary? Yeah. It's almost like, hey, I just applied here, taking for a job. I'm going to quit my job.
I don't know.
Look at the job.
Look at what happened with Anaheim. He was traded to Anaheim, and trade completed, logged with the league, and then it came up that they were on no trade list. he went back and now he's traded to Montreal.
Right. That would go to timing.
He's been traded twice from the same team.
Right. Right. But it's just funny that you sit here. There's no timeline. There's not like no 3 or 5 deadline. But here you are. Hey, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna go Dave Adams. I'm gonna apply for a job here. I applied. They said, oh, I applied this week for an interview. So I go to my work and give a 2-week notice. And I don't get a job here. It's almost like that. Where here is out of it's almost like the first thing you do before you waste all that time is you go to a member and say, listen, we're talking with your teams. If a team like this team or this team, and if he said, these are my top 10 teams I do not want to go to, I consider this, because I have to give 10 each, but Buffalo is 100% no. I'm not ready to go there. They shouldn't have been not wasting Adam's time. He'd probably be talking about someone else. And then 2 hours later, they traded 750. So here, they were working on some stuff here. So with all that said, with Buffalo trying to make these moves, does Buffalo find a way to move up in this draft? And you can trade for Roland.
They might. I mean, I could see them possibly trading maybe one of their picks for a goalie, but I mean, do you guys see him moving up like from 9th or not? Like, I don't see any. I don't see any purpose unless like Shane Wright drops down a little.
Oh,
Right.
You give up.
Well,
Right.
like if somehow, Slavkovsky, Cooley, and Nemec go 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and Wright is there at 4, which is just not going to happen.
No, whoever's taken,
like
you got 4. For Seattle.
Yeah.
Like if somehow he falls to 4, I'm calling Seattle, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
What's it gonna take?
Right.
Like,
Then why is
do you want 9 and do you want
9, 16, 28?
I'd trade.
I would say at least 2.
Let's do 9 and 16, and do you want to slightly use Casey Middlestat or Victor Olsen?
Or maybe they'll want a different player that they might say, well, what about Cousins? I mean, we can say we're gonna want to trade the guys we don't like as fan, or the guys like Johnson or the goalie Costello, but
Honestly,
we're gonna do
probably not enough of a difference in ceiling for me to want to trade Cousins.
right.
Not with 2 picks.
Right. You give up too much. Right. No. Right. Here we go. So just talk to Montreal. Let's talk about that first round pick, first overall pick. Everyone thinks that Wright's clearly 100% the number 1, but he isn't. Because they're saying Montreal, and New Jersey said they can.
Every year.
I know, that's like,
But think about it. But just talk to New Jersey says they're thinking about trading out a second round pick, but they want to see if their guy is there first. So does that mean they're really liking Slavkovsky? But what if he Slavkovsky? I don't say guy. But really they want him, they would take him to their first overall. And just like New Jersey all the time, they took Bernie Sanders, and he took his on. When Bernie Sanders said that would have been the pick, that should have been the pick. Montreal is looking at any even guys. Maybe they're not 100% sold on Ray, or they'll take him and just all talk.
Yeah, I mean, like people are always going to talk. Like there were now, mind you, they were a minority, but there were people saying that Edmonton should take Jack Eichel over Connor McDavid.
Yeah, that
like,
had been times
it's
there,
like
yeah.
I talked myself into saying, boy, I'd rather have Jack Eichel anyway.
I think a lot of us convinced ourselves that we'd rather have
Because
Jack
we didn't think we were going to get
He's a player, but
right.
But there's this conversation every draft, and other than a couple years where it was close last year, I mean, I think Power is far and away the best player so far out of that draft. We've seen it since then.
Yeah.
The reason it was as murky as it was because 2020 was just such a abnormal year. Like most years, it's clear cut, and even like this year, Slavkovsky's a hell of a player. He really is. But like, if it's even close, you go with the center. The center's always always going to be the guy you should go for. They're more valuable. They're more versatile. What happens if you pick a guy guy at center and he fails at center. Well, you can always move him to the wing. You have that. We have that backup plan. It's very rare that a guy takes shots and fails at wing, and you move him to center and he excels.
Right. Well, you look at the teams that were in the playoffs and stuff, and you look right down the middle. All those centers were so good. You got to have depth there, especially at center.
Right, and that's it. You don't know. I mean, when you get a guy like I'm saying, right, when I had Frank on you guys last night, and I posed this question: is this draft? You probably say about last year's draft too, but is this draft so off because these guys are missing a year and a half of hockey, so we don't know it. Some like so when Buffalo maybe get a guy at 9 or 16, and you say, well, the guy who gets 16, they're talking about that Russian that probably could be a top 5 prospect if he wasn't in Russia. But if you're a guy we might take and say, boy, if he could have been this much better because he missed a year and a half of hockey, so he lost all that, playing and training, so we don't know. So I think after you get out of the top 3 or 4, a lot of us are going to start to the pressure. Because these guys don't know. They don't have that. They're missing so much time.
Yeah, and also, like, if you're picking a guy from Russia, there's a little bit of a risk there. You don't really know what's going to happen.
Always has been. Right, and that especially now, right. Like 2 of the guys out of the 4 Buffalo took last year are here already.
Yeah, they'll be in development.
Right, and I don't, the one guy I think is that we're all hoping for Rosen.
Isaac Rosen.
Isaac Rosen, yeah. His name Rosen, whatever.
I've heard it pronounced.
Yeah.
It's probably Rosen.
Yeah, probably, I think he says Rosen. But Sabres have a history of having guys for 5 years in the team and then in the middle. So Kellyman and Challenger became to leader. Sakura. Yeah, Sakura. So, yeah, so. Like I say, guys, we are
Fun fact, Derek Roy's name should actually be pronounced Derek Roy.
Well,
he just anglicized it since he was drafted in the U.S.
There you go. So that would be different from Derek Roy. Because then we wonder why he's doing. But anyway, we are here live at Dave Adams, and I'm gonna bring a friend down for a minute here over there. Hey, come on over, man. This is a big time. We're giving us a little break here. Tom is a guy who, and I think I bought 4 cars off him so far. Yeah, have a seat for a minute here. Have a seat, take my seat. Who's taking tonight, number 9 there, Tom? He doesn't know.
I'm dealing with cars.
That's right. He deals with cars. Tom deals with cars. He loves the football and stuff. Probably loves soccer too. But Big Tom here is over here from West here, and I always go to him for my cars, and I said, stop on down. One of his buddies here was one of our sponsors last year, so I gotta get to say his sponsor. So yeah, I'm actually going to be talking in a week or so about being beautiful. I don't want to put my nice red cruise, but it's I've been using it for a while, so it's time. But so Big Tom, tell us about what you got going on a lot right now down there.
I'm at Wester Acura Exotics with West Street with all the Highline vehicles. You've probably seen them. Lamborghinis and Ferraris.
Yes, the Lamborghini. I'm paying my 7 Cruiser Lamborghini. I'm going to say that for the show.
But Ron can't really bring that cruise over there. No, we can. We take everything. And actually, we need a lot of vehicles inventory. It's just crazy right now. They're doing it for 13 years, and it's so crazy right now. Cars are just gaining value. It's a depreciating asset normally. So right now, everything is just going through the roof, much like cars right now. Everything is kind of opposite of what it used to be. So.
Hey, I've gotten, my wife's gotten 2 cars from you, my daughter got her car from you, I've gotten 2 cars from you, right? So I take a truck for a while. So I don't go to you, and it's great, and now you won't do that, I'm sorry, buddy. But when it doesn't work, and I said, hey, I want a car, better be nice, something about the size, just my purses I'm looking at. And before I left with the day, I was on home my new car. So we got to team up, got to be close to us, working, got to sign the paperwork. I never even saw it, took the test drive, I trust him, not saying he's do that. I did trust Tom. Tom knows.
I'm super laid back. I don't
Tom knows all my kids are coming
usually
next
you up
year.
before you guys even get there. I've got 35 stores now. Western, we can do over brand. I can get any car, we have 4,000 vehicles in our used cars, so I can bring them to Rochester. Make it really easy.
Yep. to buy a car, take it to me, he's gonna send me pictures of me, some food. And if you buy a car from Tom, and you get a friend to buy a car,
Anybody who sends me, I'm gonna send you one. So.
I walked in one day, and the very first day I met him, and I almost didn't get him, but I was talking to our guy a little bit, and our guy said, he was busy, so he wasn't help me, and the guy probably regrets it now. Actually, I think he's looking to sign up for some cars. I'm kidding, I don't know. But I don't remember the guy that walked in, and then Tom took good care of us, and I trust him a lot. So, Tom knows that, a friend that I sent a message, I was working on something a few weeks ago with my daughter's 3-month new car, so we're seeing what these things done. But again, car salesmen are like, you can't trust. I trust good Tom. And I'm not just saying that, I really do mean that. I always tell the truth, I got 5, 4, 5, I lost count. So, and Tom's a great guy. Then you go West Third, have your phone number set out there? Or?
Mine,
Your personal phone number.
my number over there is, hold on, because I moved so much.
Yes, he moved, I was so sad. He moved out to a different store for a while, and he wasn't a salesman anymore. He moved up in the
I was a finance manager for 3 years.
Yes.
I went back to sales.
And so, but he sent me another guy who I was with once. And I was actually reaching out to the other guy, and then my wife said, "No, Tom's back in the store." So I said, "Oh, sorry." And my heart was calm. You gotta do trust him,
My direct line is 716-428-7088. Or you can just find me online, Big Tom at westfield.com.
Yep, you just stop down, see him. He's there. I know it closed on Sundays, right?
Yep.
So that's good.
The only day in football.
That's right. Games on Sunday.
Team West Third.
Tom's there a lot, and when he's there, he calls an appointment with you. You'll go. And he's not going to sell your car. He wants to sell you the furniture. You'll go back to him later. He's not going to just put you in the car with the wheels fall off and you pull out the parking lot.
So I can go buy cars over here. So. I'm over there a lot. So.
Yep. So, we're doing a lot of keeping that. And so, you got anything else going on then?
No, that was it.
That's pretty much it. So, all right. Well, like I said, if you want this number, we'll feed it out there. I'm going to try to feed it out there later. We'll leave this car with something else. I actually got a lot of your cars in my car.
I can tell.
I can quite people your car. I don't know how many actually call you.
A lot of people call.
Yeah, he doesn't know. I heard some right around said, I don't know if you remember. But, Tom, that was awesome for you to stop by.
Yeah, bro.
Great to see you. We're going to come to soon. I don't know if I'll take the food. I love it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I know it's 2014. I got to get up to 2019, The Lamborghini, huh? What kind of price on the Lamborghinis?
379, we got one for 300.
$300 a month?
Yeah, $300,000.
$300,000.
That one on the shoulder was $549.
Does it get? I'm not Ubering in that.
No.
Yes, I did that with the file. Imagine you pull up. Wait, those doors go sideways?
Oh, yeah. That's door does that.
That would be great. That would be great. And hey, I think it's for I couldn't afford, I couldn't afford the insurance on one of those things, man. I have to sell all my 10 kids. Wait a minute, I'll talk to you later. I'm kidding. All right. Thank you, Big Tom. You'll see me soon. We're getting our Big Tom over there at the Acura dealer. So we'll see him. Tom right around 10 2. Then you met him. Great guy. You can't miss him. He's big. So we're talking draft. Again, we're here at David Adams. Right now, David Adams is having a Christmas in July sale. 15% off memorabilia, collectibles, and apparel. See some apparel right here. We got Cousins, Skinner, Darlene. We have the Rick Jenner autograph microphone here. Doesn't really work. And it works great, but it is autograph. And we got another autograph puck. So, we do have some exclusions that do apply to some of these sales. Obviously, they don't have to sell, but he's on most of it. The warehouse and price of sealed card products, sports singles 50% off market price, and enter to win a Bills tailgate package that includes a Josh Allen jersey. Hey. So that's what we got so far. I'll tell you some more to get going on with it. Thank you again for having us. Hey, how you doing over there, Snake? We're here Monday through Saturday. You check out their hours. You can follow them on Twitter at BACW Buffalo. So that would be how you follow them on Twitter. So we're back here. So Buffalo makes no trades. Who do they possibly take at 9? What position? Sorry, you lost. Who do you think Buffalo would take? What position do you need the most? I'm going to go goalie. I'm kidding. If we could go in the first 3 rounds, you know. If they trade for Borowski,
I think they're
I would
gonna
be
go.
so.
They're gonna pick that. You're
You think they're up to 9, not with just 16?
probably 16. Yeah, they'll probably pick him at
Because
16.
if Buffalo's tied into the 16, if he's there, he's the one Russian I was talking about that could possibly, he would be a top 5.
I wonder if they're gonna trade Nine. I think they might trade Nine.
They very well might.
I'm
It's
thinking
just
trade,
such a deep draft.
but I don't know. I'm not sure.
So I'm thinking that, you know, I know there's a guy, I should have the list, I really don't know, but Gauthier?
Oh yeah,
He's gonna make-
Best name in the draft.
He's gonna remind you a lot of the guys who wanted in Minnesota are gonna take him. Right after we took.
Oh, don't go there.
Right after we took.
I would probably go
I
I would probably go with the forward though if I were to pick one.
Now, our defensive prospect pool is really light, because all our guys are up in Buffalo now. So I don't think they go really wrong on a position.
Yeah, I mean they could fill any position really. You know, maybe pretty much any.
Yeah, obviously not going to the goalie.
No, but I mean in free agency or maybe try to pick up, you know, a stopgap.
There's not much in free agency.
I know.
Either. So do you make a trade for, is there a backup goalie on the team that we can make a trade that we could be a starter on most teams? And I'll use the Martin Braun trade, for example, when Philadelphia took him from Buffalo. We knew Miller was going to be here a long time.
Yeah.
Martin Braun was a good enough backup that he could start for a lot of teams. He did get traded for Philadelphia for the number 1 pick. Now about with the first round pick. I'm not saying Buffalo traded away that 9th overall pick, but is there a goalie like the Colorado backup goalie, Francois, or I can't think of too many goalies out there. I know the Rangers they're trying to trade that one goalie.
He was traded.
He was traded? Great.
Oh, really?
Through Colorado.
Georgia.
Well,
Yes.
what happened to Kemper?
Colorado.
Yeah.
So what happened with Kemper?
Pepper's
Or
still up in the air.
is he UFA?
He is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He
friendly.
is.
Well, Kemper, maybe, and then Buffalo maybe draft or something like that. Maybe, you know, Kemper, I don't know why Kemper would stay.
Really, Ozo.
But, Husso, yeah.
Uso, yeah.
Husso's the guy I wanted from Dallas. He's 27, but he's going to be UFA. You know, Buffalo, see, those guys might want to turn. They're saying
Yeah.
Campbell wants to turn. Campbell's 30.
What about like James Reimer?
Pepper is a UFA.
There's James Reimer from Calgary. You know, but again, they really want to have a stopgap goalie
Yeah.
for the next 2 years. So, you know, because they're road county. And you don't talk about, they always talk about Levi now. You know, I don't talk about Levi. A lot of people think Portillo pretty much probably walking.
Yeah.
And, you know, and obviously all Kevin Adams says is, hey, we want some truth. You know, just be honest with us. You don't want to let us know. But from over here, his father said, no, he wants to finish his 3rd year of college. Howard said, yep, he definitely wants to finish his 3rd year of college. It's not a Buffalo thing. You know, I know we got beat on that once before with Peterson, and you can't imagine it's going to happen all the time. But I think that Adams is pretty upset that Peterson went back to college.
Yeah, I think it's just the situation with their goalie depth. I mean, if you're him, you see UPL there in front of you, and then they bring in Levi. Like, so out of the 3 pending college free agents, college guys that need to sign, I'm like 100% sure Levi can sign.
Right.
I'm about 50-50 on Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, some news came out about Jonathan today. I didn't really hear what it was.
So-
yeah, I heard it. They know that. Yeah, they know something now.
Yeah, I know they've been talking to his, I guess it's his advisor, since he's still an NCAA, you can't have an agent. So it's, you know, the agent at that point is your advisor.
Right.
Not.
Which will change soon anyway. They're moving it for football, so.
Yeah, with the name and license stuff. But, yeah, like, I think Portillo is gone. Like, it really doesn't bother me, though. I mean, it's just why you draft a goalie every year. Like, you know, at some point this year between rounds 5 and 7, draft a goalie. I don't care which goalie. Whatever the best goalie on your board is at that point, just throw it out at a goalie.
Well, we have 3 teams to fill up. So
And then do it again next year. Do it again next year. Like, you don't need to like UPL was a second round pick. You don't need to throw a second or third round pick at a goalie every year, but
Unless it's
as long as you have at least 6 or 7 picks in a year, throw one of them at a goalie.
we have 3 second round picks next year, possibly 4. The Johnson lost, we get a second round pick. Now, does that mean second round pick in next draft?
It'd be a
24.
Would
It would be last overall.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter, still 4.
Still,
it'd be
yeah.
2024 because the if I remember
You
correctly,
can't walk till August.
he cannot walk till after the draft. So
So then you tell a team like, hey, we'll trade. So people are saying, well, Steve Johnson maybe to pick up a high pick. If I'm a team will say, hey, I'll offer you a second. But they can talk to them.
Yeah,
Right.
Think about Jimmy Vesey. What did Jimmy Vesey go? He went for a third.
Yeah, we traded for third, yeah. And we got traded again for third.
That's probably roughly what you're gonna get for Portillo, or Johnson, maybe less.
Portillo walks, we get number
Still,
2.
yeah, we
We won't get into
Yeah.
Portillo, he walks, he walks.
I'd say Johnson.
I want to see him here.
If Johnson, you might get a third for, but like Jimmy Vesey, you're talking about Obi
Do you trade him then? Why not keep him?
Obi Baker winning.
Why trade him for a third when you can get a second from the league? Depends here. Right, I think
Yeah.
you like, here
I
at.
mean, it'd be a late second, but yeah, you're right. In that case, you're not going to trade him.
Right. Oh, unless team says I'll give you a third and I'll give you a fifth
You
next.
get 2
I mean,
thirds.
yeah, you can play around with it a while. But again, that team that talked to Johnson was, and weird, hockey and football is different. When you're a college football player, you can't enter the draft. And once over, you can't play football again. Hockey, then you get drafted, and it's the NCAA rules are really screwed. I do not like the fact that NCAA players can get drafted and I just walk up in 4 years.
You can be under the NFL draft, if you sit out.
Right.
Bo Jackson.
Right. But I'm talking about you can't go back to football.
Oh, yeah, no,
these guys
no,
get drafted
no.
in college and go back and then.
Yeah, because they haven't given up their amateur. Even with, I don't know, with NFL, I think you have to hire an agent to declare for the draft. So that might be where it is. Like, because NBA, I believe with the NBA draft, you can go back as long as they haven't hired an agent.
The basketball is
They
different.
can declare for the draft and still go back if they're undrafted, as long as they haven't hired an agent.
Do you think there's a problem with the NHL the way they were picking players? I mean, here, a player, Reinhardt, for example, he won't be UFA till he's 26, 27 years old. Where a college player is UFA at 22 if they just don't set sign. I know it's I think the league's got to say that a player belongs to the team as an RFA. Fine, not even RFA.
But that loophole applies to all players, except for Russian players. It's KHL because of the non-existence of the transfer agreement there. So an NFL team holds the rights to a KHL drafted player indefinitely. But any college player, any junior player, it's like they can all have that same opportunity to become a free agent. It's just you don't see it because what happens. So let's say there's a player in the CHL, someone playing for like I don't know, like the Edmonton Oil Kings, right? Out in the WHL. Sabres draft him. He doesn't sign. He play. It's actually only 2 years of rights for a CHL player. So he's drafted at 18. He doesn't sign. 2 years go by. His rights expire. What happens to him? Well, he's still, because he's 20 years old, he's still draft eligible. So he re-enters the draft. But it's the same. There's a few that have. I would have to look it up, but there's been a few that have. But
Probably more notable.
here's the interesting part: is if he goes back through and is drafted again, if he doesn't sign for another 2 years, well, now I believe it's 22 or 23. Well, maybe it's 21. Whatever the upper limit is for the draft. If he's over that age and he still hasn't signed, well, now he's a free agent. So, like, it's a loophole that's there for everyone. Just, CHL players have to go through the draft twice. College players,
difference is those players can sign with the team, and that way they, they can.
Yeah, they can sign while they're still playing.
Maybe that's where, they tell this MCA's got to get on here and say, look, maybe Pearson said, hey, I would have signed. I'm sure that's a job. I would have signed with you, but they just won't let me. And now all of a sudden, now it's time for him to come to UFA. Now he has a second thought. Well, now I'm this close. I might as well, stay and just not sign for it.
But why wouldn't you keep your options open?
When you're getting that close, absolutely.
I mean, it's different for the CHL players because if you go re-enter the draft, you're probably gonna go later than you did before. I'm not sure a guy really comes on strong in college. He goes from like a 7th round guy to like a 3rd round.
Yeah, and you don't really see too much. I mean, some can draft, but see, then they can draft these players in the NCAA. So that's the difference is in football, right? It's different. Maybe we better that they can't draft these guys until they're done with college, but they have to declare for the, but maybe that's where we go draft the pick. And college players should be eligible for the draft until they're done with college. Get them Buffalo and a half of those guys to be drafted. And, now Pearson was drafted what round? That's 6. Miller was drafted. No. Yeah. So, but maybe Buffalo does never. What's their round here? They're like 4 guards you got to play. But but then again, you're not really probably in these picks. Maybe that's what they have to do. But it's going to sting a little while. Well, how are you going to draft college players? And I know we could all do a Buffalo thing and say, everyone who draft college is not going to come here. Power can go around.
It just doesn't happen that often. Yeah. It's like it doesn't happen that often. So why are we getting so wrapped up about it?
It happened to us twice in the position of the most need.
It happened once with Peterson. It might happen with Portillo, but like I said, Portillo.
I don't count Bessie. I don't count Bessie.
Yeah, BC. You traded for BC knowing that he was going to free agency. He was upfront about it.
You just want to talk to Jack like,
hey, I want to go to UFA.
Right.
Be a free agent. And Tim Murray traded a 3rd, but maybe I can talk him into
him and Jack like, and he ended up coming here anyways. He didn't do anything. And where is he now?
Nowhere. Yeah, you're right.
We traded a 3rd round pick for Jimmy BC twice.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad. He's kind of the player on this year's roster. Kind of reminds me of is Vinny Nestroza.
Yeah.
He's just that. Like he's not bad.
You think you're bad?
Oh yeah. I mean,
I think
Nestroza has good metrics. He just he's so replaceable. It's not worth for the Sabres to give him a roster spot that can go to a guy like Jack Blair or JJ or even our Arturius Sawan.
That's way too long. He's a UFA. He's not bad.
Right.
If you brought him back,
he's replaceable,
Well, yeah, he's really playing in
He's typically below replacement.
He's not even saving them all. I mean, what do you do with Aspen? Who wants him? We like Aspen.
No, you don't.
No, Aspen's the player you need. We think we learned our lesson on that. So, I mean, it depends. I mean, he's got to be part of the Chuck trade. People are talking about that. People are talking about the Chuck trade.
Rasmus Aspen got
Yep, he did.
3 supplements.
Yep, that's more votes than Russell Wilson ever got for So, all right, we're going to take a few seconds here again. We are here at Dave and Adams on live at the event. We're at Transit in Sheridan. If you want to stop in, we have hot catch football cards, all kinds of memorabilia. And also, as usual, our show is sponsored by John Mary Sub. I'm sorry. So we're going to get some food after. I'll probably hit John Mary's on the way home. Stop in there, say Ranting around Center. And also, of course, Dinosaur Barbecue. I'm looking hungry right now.
Yeah.
You ate though, so
I know what that.
We worked all day. We go to people's houses. I won't say what we go to people's houses, knocks on the door, let me in. I'm not kidding. It's a job. It's almost like it's a gas thing. Right. We'll be back in 17 seconds.
All right, I guess I'm on. All right. Oh, geez. Okay, so we talking about? We talked about trading up. So did we talk about who? You said
I'm thinking
you're
they
off
might-
it.
I'm thinking they might trade it.
Yeah. I don't know
Although,
about.
it's so like in the air, you just don't know what they're gonna
Yeah,
do.
so-
And they could pull something right when it.
Here's the thing about this draft class. So I've heard this draft class be called weak. It's not a weak draft class. It does not.
I thought it was pretty strong.
Well, yeah, last year everyone was pumping it up, but now this year
Yeah.
some guys are calling it weak.
I think
It's a pretty good draft class. What it is, in no disrespect to Shane Wright, who I think is a fantastic player. But, you know, he had kind of a down year. There's just there's no top, there's no McDavid or Eichel or Austin Matthews or even Owen Powell at the top of the draft. You got a guy in right who might be most similar to in stature to a Sam Reinhart.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with drafting a Sam Reinhart #1 in a draft like this, but it just doesn't have that big, sexy name at the top.
Yeah.
But what it is this draft is deep. After 3, there's 10, 15 guys who could go. There's guys who I could see going anywhere from 4 to 15. There's just so much talent. So the reason I don't see too many trades going up or down is why are you going to spend assets to trade up 4 spots when there might be 5 guys on the board that are still on the board? It all depends how guys fall. Like I said, I would do whatever it took to trade up if Wright somehow slid.
That would be the only reason I would do it.
But
Other than that, I wouldn't bother.
well, where the Sabres are sitting at 9, I've made no secret about it. I like Frank Mazar. I really want Frank Mazar.
Yeah.
You know, he's just so fast, has so much speed and skill. But you know, David Juracek, he probably won't be there at 9, but he could fall. And then there's Matthew Savoy, who was originally considered a top 3 talent. I've seen him go anywhere from 5 to 12 or 15.
So it's pretty.
Yeah, and then
Widespread there.
what's his last name? Marco. I've seen him projected everywhere from 8 to our friends from the Charging Buffalo. They had him at 27th in their draft.
Oh, wow.
So it's just the first round's all over the
I
place.
feel like it's always crazy. There's always these crazy different. Everyone's trying to figure out mock drafts and this and that. But you really don't know.
Brad Lambert, he was considered one of the top guys. Now, he could be there at 16.
Yeah.
He could even be a stretch, but he could be there at 28. A lot of teams are down on him because, he didn't play a lot in the SHL. His numbers aren't there. But the dude still has so much raw talent.
Yeah.
He could be kind of this year's Anton Lundell, where the stats aren't there because he played in a men's league and didn't get playing time. But, the skill is just there. And I might be a little iffy taking him at 16, but you know what? If they get Mazar or someone at 9 that we really like, I'd take a shot at him at 16. If he's there at 24. I'm trading up. I'm calling with whatever it takes, and trading up ahead of him.
Yeah, I would do that too. I mean, to try to get him that would be good.
Secondary. All right. So before we move on, David Adams is hosting a card show at the store Sunday, July 17th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 20+ tables with cards and collectibles. Members of the David Adams buying team will be on site if you are looking to sell anything from your collection. CFG will also be on hand taking grading submissions. I don't know who CSG is. I guess I'm not that big into cards. I know Ron is. Robbie, you play cards? Play cards? No.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It must be some type of
I don't know.
grading. You'll figure it out.
You kind of people know what we're talking about. I have a box of cards in my closet that I haven't touched since I was in like 8th grade.
Yeah, I have a bunch, but like I don't like collect like some people do.
Okay. So couple trades today. The Brink got traded. Like I said, I wasn't.
I was okay. Yeah, I was fine. Yeah.
Do you think any other trades are going to happen before the draft starts or before the Sabres make their picks?
There might. I could see maybe it happening. But yeah, if the right move is there, I would say do it. You know, that's like the one thing I hope like that they do is like possibly trade for somebody like that's kind of established, kind of the league. Maybe add some grit, and be good to go.
Now let me ask you this: Would you trade 9 and 28 to let's say Winnipeg for Pierre Luc? No.
What
No
else?
says no.
What else is it? It's just that the two picks.
I mean, there might be more in the package. I'm just spitballing here. I'm going to put together a pick. If you give up 2 first-round picks
I would do
in this
it.
year's draft for Pierre Luc,
What do you got to lose?
Look at this. Look at the comic book. This is a comic book, 1980 X-Men, we got X-Men. It's like when you have hockey cards, they put this rated 9.4 X-Men edition. Look how beautiful they put in these cases here. So you got them taken in. This stuff is huge. You could spend hours here. You don't have to, but look at this. I mean, this is just amazing how this thing is totally just encased. If you really are a big collector of comic books here, they have punching down there, so I'm going back to that.
Cool. Yeah, I would consider it for sure. Depends what they're kind of looking for, and what you know what I mean. But I would definitely consider it. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, the only tough thing for me is Tennessee wants to test free agents. You get a great young player. He might be the next. He's well on his way to becoming the next Ryan. I think South Key trophies in the future. But do you give up? Are the Sabres in that position to give up draft capital, substantial draft capital, for a young player that essentially puts you in win now?
It's a tough call. I mean, I know like Kevin Adams is not going to want to rush. And I don't think he would realistically. I don't think he would do it. But I mean, if there was at least one pick, I would do it.
So is there?
They have many picks. Like I could see them trading one out of the 3 top picks.
So let me ask this: Is there a Taylor Hall signing out there? Is there a guy who, and like we said, we don't think they're going to rush it. We don't think they're in now mode. But is there a guy who maybe isn't going to get what he wants long term, that maybe you sign for a year with just a huge paycheck? It might be an old guy, might just be someone who had a down year, injury or something, that you just signed. You've given up nothing to get this guy, and you can always trade him at the trade deadline. Even if you only get a second-round pick, like everyone, was down on when we traded Taylor Hall.
Yeah,
but
I was fine with it. He didn't want to do it. It didn't work out, so I was like, that's fine.
You to buy a second round pick. Okay, cool. Like,
I was fine with it. And if it worked, great. If it didn't, then okay. Then you found your answer. At least you didn't.
yeah.
It's not like another Jeff Skinner deal where just dumped a bunch of money and now you might be regretting that in a few years.
Yeah. Now, let me ask: Are we happy with moving kind of on? But, the signings we've had so far. Are we happy with Greg Anderson? The signing Greg Anderson and where is there in talks with Dustin Tokarski?
I didn't hear anything about Tokarski, but I liked how they did do a 1-year deal with Anderson to keep that leadership in the locker room and stuff. But I don't see him being a 1A goalie. They need another. I don't see UPL. They need another goalie in there because UPL's been hurt and stuff, and I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is UPL probably gets you about 30 games because realistically he's probably going to get hurt. Plus he just hasn't been a starter. He's a rookie. Anderson, because of his age, probably get you about 30 games.
Yeah.
So if you went into the season with that tandem, you got to get a third goalie to start for 20 games. So
would you roll with Steve Bond?
So what I would have done is I would have gone out and gotten Husso, traded for somebody. I would offer Jake Ottinger. I know Dallas will match it. There's no way they're giving the bottom for it. But maybe if you don't trade for Ben Bishop, you could you'd have more leverage if you wanted to offer Jake Ottinger because they have another roster spot they occupied. But I would have done that, brought back Subban, partially because I think that gives you an inside track to signing another Subban who might help the right side of the defense. I would do that.
I mean, and you're not going to cost. It's not going to cost an arm and a leg. If you're kind of depending on maybe Levi or Toro, I don't know. Or I just don't know.
And that's the thing is if either college really signs, then you have one slot in Rochester filled.
Yeah.
They didn't. So now you have two spots to fill. Is one of them UPL? Is one of them Tokarski? Is one of them Subban? And the question you have to ask yourself is UPL ready to be the number 2 in Buffalo? I think he might. Some people don't think he is. So in 9 games he had he was -2 in goals saved above expectation, which is the big analytic term for is he making the saves he should make? Well, he was -2. But you know what? That's about the same rate as Craig Anderson.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's I just don't like signing the guy that is basically as bad, 40 years old, to take minutes from him.
Yeah, I don't see that.
So I'm just wondering if because I'm well on the record being against the signing, but I'm wondering if Adams is just really hedging his bets and is talking to Tokarski and talking to Anderson just in case they can't get anybody. Which I guess you can applaud them for that, but to me it's just you really can't. That's something where you just really can't pick.
Somebody asked me Frank last night. They said they're worried because Tiny Anderson means we're not going to do much. And anyway, that's going to stop it. I don't think it does. I think they signed Anderson.
It's a fact.
Right, if anything, I don't think that stops him from doing anything. What happened almost there with Matt Murray?
Yeah.
So I think it's like, hey, they might talk to Hanson, he may be undecided whether he wants to play or not. They say, hey, let's just sign you. Come September, and they say, I'm done and retire.
So-
That hurt him.
So
you know.
here's where I'm worried is,
He's worried.
so let's say you sign Billy Rousseau or you bring in whatever 1A you want. He comes into camp. He's good. He's good. UPL comes into camp. He wins the job.
No one's fine.
What he wins the number 2 job.
Okay.
What are you doing with Anderson? Are you going to send him to Rochester?
No, he's this.
Are you gonna have 3 goalies on the NHL roster? Because that never works.
Maybe
That never works. Like,
They
so I'm wondering.
They wait in Rochester.
I'm wondering, is there like a wink, nudge agreement with him? Like, because he was talking retirement, where Adams goes to Craig Anderson and like, hey, I know you want to retire, but we have no leverage in the trade right now. We have no leverage in the trade. We have no leverage in a trade or signing because we're so far off the cap floor. And we have no goalies. Like there's so many reasons. We just have no leverage in any signings, any trades.
Well, trade you might. But
Yeah.
we'll leave up.
Right.
Look,
Like-
I'm saying talk is untouchable. I don't believe it. I don't believe any player is untouchable. I'm sorry, that's untouchable because of the way Tech comes along. Chuck and Kelly want to tell. Maybe you say, hey, we can't trade on Power, Talk, Thompson, and that's probably true. You don't want to trade Power and all that. Of course not. But before this last season, no one wanted Thompson on his team. He has a good season. Maybe for the Eagles. He had 40 on defense. He did close.
We got 40.
You got 40. Okay. So we got 40. I'm saying now something untouchable, and you might never hit that again. What I'm saying is, if a trade works in Buffalo's favor, you make a move. If the Chuck is a player, you trade. Let me just throw this out. I know somebody said, for the Chuck, we did the Buffalo thing there. It said, well, we'll trade Johnson, Middlestat, Portillo, and a second round pick in 2029. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to give up something. I'd give up Chuck and maybe the 16th overall, and I don't know what his contract says for Chuck. But he's a player that had 100 something points this year. He's going to have to give up a little something. What's the most you give up for Chuck?
I wouldn't give up.
Huh?
I wouldn't give up.
For what?
One Calgary.
Nah.
Yeah, one Calgary. North out. 140 guy. I know his contract stats either. Let's just say he's going to be for 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, the longevity.
I have
2 years.
I have a hard time because I always mix up his numbers with the other.
Look at Chuck here out in Calgary. 100 something points. You watch out. Maybe bring him and Reimer. We'll give him everyone who's not going to say this. Middlestat. That's what people say. Oh, good Middlestat Johnson. No, you don't ever want to. You never expand want to give up anything in a trade. And sometimes you're going to have to. So it's tough, and it's got to be tough to be a GM. A team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 11 years, hasn't been good in a very long time. And Robbie, I mean, what are we doing here? We're not gonna. Well, we don't get we sucked for so long, but we don't want to give up any of the suck. We just want to. We want your best guy. We'll give you this guy, but we're not going to give you the guy.
Yeah.
So it really depends. The draft picks come back and all that other stuff.
What do you want for Matthew Tkachuk?
I don't know. What would you give up? Would you give up Tuck? Let's say Tuck, the 16th overall, first round pick next year.
What was it?
What was it? The right idea for Tkachuk? Let's say Tuck, 16th overall, prospect. Maybe I pick next year. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't have
a lot going there.
What's his contract status?
I don't know if that's I didn't know. I know not those contracts.
That seems like a
That
lot.
will have a lot to play with. What I'm saying is to get a player to win the Chuck, you're going to have to give up something. We're still wondering if we won the Eichel trade. They didn't get the playoffs, so I really didn't care about it. But, we got Tuck, we got Krebs, and to get it to Chuck, you're going to have to give something up. And I'm not talking about Olsen or player that's college, going to be college ready. You can't give up that. You're going to have to give up something good. So if they want 2 players off the Sabres for Kachuk, he's I know it's so bad. What 2 players are you really going to give up until you don't cover it?
I'm just, I like the player. I like his physical stuff.
Very feisty.
I like his numbers.
You keep Marchand ass.
I just,
I want to see that. That'd be worth the trade.
like, I don't think the Sabres are in that spot because whatever you give up for him probably sets you back.
Sets you back.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
you're going to have to give up the other pieces. And that's where, like, a move like that is not a move for the Sabres. It's a move for a team that's in win now mode. Like, hey, I can give up my next 2 first-round picks
Like Carolina,
because
maybe the Rangers.
I'm set. My NHL roster set for the next 3 or 4 years, and my HL roster set for the next 5 or so years. Like, I'm just loaded. Like we're gonna win now. Like we're gonna rebuild hard in 7 or 8 years. But like, who cares? Because like we have a chance to win the cup this year and next year, next year. Like the Sabres window probably won't even fully open for another 2 or 3 years.
Right, right. We don't make it a pretty pass trade because that, now we're boosting Buffalo. So we're going to talk about in a few minutes here. We're here live at Dave and Adams on Transit, Road, and Sheridan. I don't know shit about it. We always got Jersey here. We got Skinner over to dinner. We go to we got Cousins jersey. Here you go. Cousins and Kachuk. Cousins, 16 overall, straight up for the job.
I would do it.
Yeah.
See, it's hard because you know. We know what Kachuk can do. You know what Kachuk can do. You always afraid to You're a little bit afraid to give up that. I don't think it. I think it would be exciting. How old is Kachuk? 24?
No, he's in the Brady.
Okay.
Wait, is he older?
Matthew's the older.
Okay, so he's like 26.
Ooh, that's risky.
I think he's
All right, so yeah, maybe you don't give up. I think it's 24.
If
So
he
we
was
don't give up
younger,
that much.
I would.
What do you think, Robbie? What do you think? Is Buffalo taking number 9 overall or do they move him? Everybody says this is Robbie. He does Let's Talk 71 Sports. Make sure you follow him. He's great. He gets a lot of great guests on. He's gonna right now. He's scheduled to have Howard Simon on July 25th.
Oh, cool.
I think it was supposed to be tomorrow, but we got canceled to July 25th.
That's cool.
Howard's always on vacation. You know, guys out for 6 weeks for social, come back, a week, take a vacation, come back for 2 weeks, takes 2 more weeks vacation. I need that kind of work. Rob, what do you think? What do you think happens tonight? If he's picking 9, picking 16, you think these guys really going to pick one happen? Getting close. We're down to we have 27 minutes here live on David Adams. So they take a pick or they make a good one? I think they stay. All right, so we got a half hour to go here, and I want to get off the draft topic a little bit here. And I want to talk about, me and Frank touched on it a little bit last night. I want to talk about, I'm standing at Snowbase, so I'm going to be standing. I want to look at the Sabres division, and what can we do to get in the playoffs? And I said last night, I think the Sabres have a chance at being in the playoffs to be important, to have games that are meaningful games in March. To do this, which I think they could, to do it, you need a goalie that is just above average can do that. Will be big, above average, not just an average goalie. I think you have to be a little bit above average. I think that you get that kind of goaltending. Now, let's say we get that all year, okay, and we get the goal scoring the last year, we get a little bit more goal scoring, something we do all year, hopefully. Now, Florida's a given, they're in the playoffs. Florida's in the playoffs, right? Okay. Right? Anyway, Florida's out of the playoffs next year. Is Buffalo okay? Is Buffalo better than Florida next year? No. Okay.
No.
So
Florida's too low.
Okay.
They need a huge draft.
All right. Let's say, right. Well, no, we're going to say just, we don't know. Let's just say everything's even.
Yeah.
Everything's even. So, okay, so we say, okay, that's actually important. 10 week cuts, Tampa Bay.
Probably.
Probably not, unless they won the jobs, they're not in the finals, they can go over, they have cap issues, they always have cap issues, they find a way to get out of it. Is that, so, but probably not. All right, Toronto, and we got Toronto, we don't know who the goal is gonna be next year, but they have offensive firepower. So they're the top three, right? We're definitely top.
Unless they get zero goaltending, like Matthews would be better. It depends if Matthews stays at the level, which it's very rare that a player plays at that level 2 years in a row. The only his goals above replacement is off the chart. This past year,
And maybe this year we play some of the goals, we don't know.
Yeah.
So look at it, Florida was 50,
analytics.
Florida was 47. Florida was 47 points out of Buffalo. We had, I didn't tell you, 40 points ahead was Toronto, and then 35 points ahead was Tampa Bay. So we're going to give that Boston 107 points. Remember, Buffalo was at 75. Boston is going to miss some key guys to start the season.
That they have. To me, it's going to be tough because they are missing Marchand and missing some key guys. But to me, when they miss the playoffs, it's going to be Bergeron. Bergeron's coming back for a year. I mean, they might have to scrape and claw their way into the playoffs, but they're going to be in the, at the very least, they're going to be in the hunt for the last weekend of the regular season.
So that leaves one more wild card spot. Okay, so now we have 3 division spots in the wild card gone. Okay, so this is the wild card spot. Let's take over Carolina. They're the top 3 divisions, right?
Yeah.
And then the gets started. Are the Rangers going to be as good as they were this year? Will they get the same goaltending? Because if they don't get that goaltending, are they even playoffs?
I tell you what, if they get the same level of goaltending, first you got to start talking about Shesterkin being second or third of all time behind Hatchet. Because the only goalie that's been that dominant over a course of 2, 3, 4, 5 years was Hatchet when they were the Sabres. Even the other top guys, all goalies have a dominant. One was 10.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
So history shows. So let's just say he becomes an average goalie, as a year ever expected. It will Buffalo. They had 110 points. Buffalo, that's 35 more Buffalo protects the Rangers. The team Buffalo in the past.
It depends what they do in free agency. If they go after, they're really not that good of a team, but they're in a big market. Their owners always like to, bring in big names. If they can bring in a Drew and add that with the guys like Panarin and Kreider and the young defensive guys they have, they might actually.
Right. Come September, we ask these questions again. Buffalo.
Can they bring in enough in front of Shesterkin to kind of even out if he, as a favorite word we like to use with Josh Allen, regresses. Not to say that he's bad all of a sudden, but
right.
he
just not to be as good as well.
Like Matthews, he had a all-time season for a goalie. It's one of the definitely in the advanced stats era.
Okay, that goes by
2007.
Right. Well, let's go by with the team they are
The greatest season.
Let's go by with the teams they are. Remember, Buffalo might have a couple of players, so we can say that about 18. Let's go with the teams the way they're structured now. If you're not expecting that goal to have the same kind of season, is Buffalo catching up for 10?
I think they
It's attainable.
Okay.
It's
We're going to go by what all teams say.
It's easy, but
Yeah.
Now you have Detroit, Buffalo finished ahead. So we could probably criticize Detroit again.
it depends if
What they get.
it depends if their young players take another step forward. I mean, they have the reigning Calder. They have the reigning Calder Trophy winner. And they had 3 guys at the beginning of the year that we thought would contend for the Calder Trophy. The goalie, I'm blanking on his name, but then
You're about to 3 Billy Macy off.
Yeah,
One of the
it's like Ottawa. I think Ottawa has.
two places.
I think they have enough young guys that are just ready to turn the corner that they could like. I think they're further along the bill than the Sabres. I don't know if they're better long term.
I don't think they're better than those at all.
I think they can. I think they can. I think they can blast ahead.
Yeah,
They're further ahead. Not the Bills, further ahead of their bill.
Oh, I know that's the deal.
No, I think they're further along in their rebuild, and I think they could go way ahead of the Sabres for a year or two. I don't know if they're better long term.
And then Montreal, so I think it's better than Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal is Montreal's tough because I don't think they're going to be good next year. But like, if Carey Price is healthy and does Carey Price things, you know,
That's
You're gonna need it's like a final.
Right.
I would say that. All right, so now we look at, so Buffalo, Detroit, Ottawa could be in the mix for that second offense spot. But we'll see who we talk about. Carolina Rangers are going to see Pittsburgh. They're getting older. They're coming back with the same team. They probably don't have a goal. They're in the same situation in Buffalo with some goals and better, but nothing special. And Buffalo be better than Pittsburgh. Another team that had 103 points magically.
Depends what happens with Malkin.
Yeah.
They will come back.
If they both come back
A year older.
and they get that doesn't matter. Does not matter. As long as those three are together and they still have the role players like Gensel and whoever, Mark Dawn. You know the whole thing. It was like whoever, whatever random guy, Mark Dawn, John Smith plays on. Crosby, Swayze, Magic, Evan Rodriguez, who has always had good numbers. And Sabres Twitter like to say, oh, he's a AHL fourth line. No,
I think
he's always been good. He just wasn't given the opportunity. But they're a good team. Goaltending could out run the. As long as Pittsburgh has their big three, I have a hard time counting them.
And they probably should have been
Yeah, I just have a hard time. I can't bet against City Crosby.
all right. So you don't think you have a chance? And that means you don't have
It's possible. I don't. As long as that big three is together, I don't see them flying out of the playoffs.
Washington.
That one's tough too.
They had 100 points.
I hate to bet against Ovechkin.
Right.
it's getting old.
Ekstrom and Oshie, they're getting old. But I think Gretzky, or see, I just said Gretzky. I think Ovechkin can play into his 40s. Like,
Yeah,
he can be like Yager, play well into his 40s. I don't think it's a question of if he breaks Gretzky's record, but when. Like, he is the greatest goal scorer of all time.
Gretzky's got to remember he's watching to be his record. All right, so Washington, no, right. And they're both in a situation. We don't know what Samsonov, we don't know. They're very long in the tooth, they're very old team. Pittsburgh, Washington are a lot alike. They're being a lot older. It's almost like these great players they have.
I'll say,
Really carry.
Ovechkin at, what is it, 36, 34?
105.
Yeah. He just had one of his best overall seasons
That's incredible.
in years. I'm not just talking points, but like his passing, his playmaking, his defense. Like, he just is incredible this year. Like,
But you'll be a year older, the team's a year older. So eventually you hit that wall.
yeah,
Right.
Eventually you hit the game.
but it's like,
He's not hitting it.
he's just, it's like that. We were with the Bills and Patriots. We were in that spot for years. Where, this is the year the Patriots fall off. This is the year.
It took Brady.
This is the year Brady falls off. No, it's like you get certain athletes, Ovechkin, Crosby, that I just don't see them falling off the cliff. Like, they might decline a little bit. I don't see them falling off the cliff.
Great players, you mean great players.
As long as they're on the centerpiece to those teams, you just can't count those teams out.
And then you have Philadelphia, New Jersey, Columbus, Rome, right after Slade.
Philly's gonna be bad.
Columbus.
Yeah, pretty bad. New Jersey depends if they get goaltending. And, you know, they retained Lindy Ruff, and a lot of it had to do with Jack Hughes really liked Lindy, and of course he should. He doesn't like Lindy Ruff. He's a great coach. But like Lindy can't make a save. Like Jack Hughes can't make a save. Like it's all. They're going to be another team that's in the market for a goalie, and if they get one who's better than who do they have? Blackwell or Blackwood? Blackwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like Buffalo. They're like, man, they get a goalie.
Whoever they get, like, it's going to have a big impact on their season. They could be in the lottery, challenging for the first overall pick.
They cannot get the second overall pick. They can't win.
They could finish last and win the lottery and get kind of Bedard, or they could be a wild card. It's really all going to depend on if they get goaltending. Like what happens in their free agency? Like Subban is probably gone. Like I said, I'd like him to sign here.
I would love it.
Columbus has 3 goalies. They go around. I don't know them anyways. They have 3 goalies right there. We talked about their better goalies are not even that good. So I think Columbus is not going to be good at all. Right? They're not. So really, it's going for Buffalo to make the playoffs. One, we have to get just above Gavin's goaltending. Now we turn to 8 right just above Gavin's goaltending. And Washington or Pittsburgh have to get over. And then we
you need
out of Anderson,
you need Peyton Krebs. You need one of Peyton Krebs and Dylan Cousins to take a big step forward. And
maybe Quinn will surprise
and
me.
you need Quinn and
Paterka
to come in.
Yeah.
And
I think he should.
he should.
He should be in the lineup.
I don't care what you do to Anders Borg. I
Or,
don't
yeah.
care if you trade him, waive him, most likely just waive him.
Just
send him
wait.
to Rochester, put him in a cannon, fire him or something. I really don't care. Just get him off the
Only
NHL
Egan's
roster.
hand, right?
Well, he gets a free agent.
I know, but you can help him.
He can walk himself home wherever he's from. Wherever. I don't care.
It's supposed to know this thing, Brian. You guys, I think
And you know, like
That's going to change a lot.
everyone became a huge Cody Eakin fan this year because he, because he seems to be a cool guy off the ice. Cody Eakin.
Because he helped get a record on the ice.
Because he trolled Jack Eichel and I don't care how cool he is.
No.
He's a below replacement level.
Nobody wants to
get him off.
He's got a high percentage face-off, but to your point, you could replace him very easily.
I can't imagine.
Me and Ron have talked about this so many times. So you need 1 or 2 guys on your team to take face-offs.
Right, anybody, right?
I can take face-offs.
Yeah.
Face-offs are one of the least important things in hockey. It's way too big to do it. So the face-off is not to handle it.
Right. So the difference between, and I don't have the number in front of me, but I pulled the numbers a while back, and the difference between Cody Eakin and Casey Middlestat, Casey didn't play. Who was it Casey? Someone who was, I forget, but someone was around like 48% or something like that. Eakin was around like 55.
We didn't win.
That's a difference of about two face-offs per game. Like you really.
It was really weird. Like
I'd have to find the tweet.
Right.
I ran the numbers on it, and that's the thing. Is like between unless it's a guy like Ryan O'Reilly can play hockey, but unless it's a guy who's at 60% of Ryan O'Reilly,
but have to play hockey. They can win 100%
because I'm not going to roster a guy and put a guy out at key moments who wins 2 extra face-offs, 2-3 extra face-offs per game. And that's compared to a guy that's below 50%.
but you need, yeah.
If you have
I just
someone
think it's
ready
important.
to
End the game, yeah,
It's not important.
I guess.
And it's like you could bring back a guy like Johan Larson who hovers right around 50%.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Oh, man.
Larson?
Oh,
Is
we're
an
gonna be all over the place
is
this
an
weekend,
elite
man.
defensive forward
What about Dominic?
and can play center.
Now,
You
you know,
know,
who off the face of the earth.
because you know they seem to like Asplin at wing, which is fine. And like people are like, oh, why would you bring Larson back? You already have an elite forward.
I would do
forward
it.
in Asplin. Why
Yeah,
can't I have
it'd be
two?
perfect,
Why
yeah.
can I have two? Because I can split them up and put one on the
That would
third
be a
line,
perfect replacement.
one on the second line, one on the third line,
Yeah.
one on the fourth line.
Yeah.
Like, give me as many elite
No.
defensive forwards
Yeah.
as you can get.
You
You know,
need that,
you know, you think of like the wing the face off, and you think of some people in the fans, the Buffalo Bills, when they're worried about the punting situation, like you gotta go to punter, but the more important is
Oh,
can
no.
you hold the ball.
You don't need the punt.
Yeah, you
That's
don't
a
need to
punt.
put it on, but they do. But the biggest concern is, well, you know, can you hold the ball so fast when you kick? That's why we had a bad kicker last year.
All college and NFL teams out there. If you hire me to coach a team, I promise you, I will never, ever punt. It'd be good publicity, if nothing else.
If I
Hire
owned,
me.
if I owned the NFL team, I would tell my coach, never punt.
We're going
Don't
for
ever
fourth down.
do
Fourth and 30 on my one. I'm going, no, I
Right,
probably
right,
I just promised
I'm going
I wouldn't,
for it.
so I'm going for it.
Depends what the score is. We have 8 minutes to go here, so we'll wrap it up here in a minute. We're live with Dave Dan. Dave Dan, we want to thank you so much for having the Ranting cast here. We have Steve here, we have Austin here, we have Robbie. Steve Robbie talks too much. Who's gonna stop in? But this is my last show for the season. Frank will be taking over for the summer. I'm sure I work with Steve a little bit in the summer. Austin's gonna be joining us more full time next year. You can catch Robbie at Let's Talk 716 Sports. You've got some great guests on too next year. We're lining up some awesome guests. We've got awesome guests in the past, so we'll wrap this up here with some important stuff here. First of all, why in Doctor Strange? And spoiler alert,
I haven't seen it, Ron.
Okay,
I'll
just
slap
think
you.
about it.
I
And
haven't
then
seen
go watch
it.
the show last night, because that's what we were talking. You have not seen Doctor Strange? No. He gets on my case if I don't watch it.
I watched one of them.
Not mine in the first one.
I have three kids, and I gotta watch the
I am
Spider-Man.
10, I still didn't wait. They go to bed eventually. They go to bed eventually. No, I actually wait till you want to do my
I watched Miss Marvel last night, though. I haven't seen, probably because I haven't seen Doctor Strange. I haven't seen anything that I did.
Okay, Doctor
I haven't
Strange.
seen.
You ever seen Doctor Strange? Have you seen Doctor Strange?
I guess we'll have to watch.
Oh, I think that's my question.
We'll save it for next time.
All right, spoiler alert. Darth Vader is Luke's father. On the double side. But anyways, I was going to ask you a couple questions. We and Frank went through it last night, so I can't bring it up. Don't watch the show. Don't watch the last 10 minutes of the show last night. We really went into what happened with Doctor Strange, why did it make sense, and I didn't see it. I wanted to see it because this guy, 7 a.m. Did you watch last night? Did you watch, what did you watch the other way? You talking about it comes out of the
You still haven't watched Clone Wars.
It's a cartoon.
It's the best Star Wars.
I don't know. All I know is, it's funny, right? Did you watch Boba Fett? No, it's 2 hours, 3 hours ago. You're not sleeping.
Movies are different.
Movies are different. I get it. Movies are different. I understand. So, all right. So that's it. Final question. We'll sort of set it out here. Do the Sabres draft all 3 picks at 9, 16, or 28, or at least one of them is moved? One of the 3. All right. Robbie's got 1 of the 3 are traded. Austin.
I agree with Rob. I think at least one out of 3. Yeah.
All right. And you, sir?
I think Kevin Adams, he said it, and I agree with him. I think he intends on using all 3 picks.
Which you almost said one of them today, though.
I don't know. Like,
That's
That's why I said.
That's my
yeah.
opinion.
I mean, are you going to trade a first for a goalie? That's the question.
Depends what goalie.
And like,
Well, they were trading we were just swapping 16 and 7. Again, that's not what we were doing.
So now are you saying trade, like, are you counting if I trade up? Like,
Maybe.
okay. So, like, I don't,
The Buffalo had 3 picks in the first round, they make 3 picks.
I just don't see like the Ryan O'Reilly trades. Like the Sabres aren't there to trade for that kind of guy. Maybe if there's a goalie that you can trade 28 for, but like the only real situation other than the like crazy Shane Wright thing we talked about.
Yeah, that's what I.
Like the only situation I can really see trading up is if a guy like Brad Lambert or Frank Nazar or someone like that slides into the 20s, and if I'm at 28, am I going to trade up to 23 or 24 for a guy like Nazar who's insanely skilled but undersized, or a guy like Lambert, Lambert, he's probably the most skilled player in the draft. He had a tough year. Like he's gone from the top 5 to he could go 15, 20. Who knows? If he's there, I want to trade up and take a swing at him.
All right, see how this works? Right, what do you think? They'll trade one. What do you think? They'll trade one. Now, get to Steve. Well, so right, and he's right. Steve is right. Anything can happen. But the question was,
I don't think they will. I think they will make 3 picks. Whether they are 9, I think they'll pick at 9 and 16. We'll see if they pick at 20.
I think they make 1 pick and they trade the other 2.
Oh, you think too?
I was going to go after because it's cool if I'm right. I'll say that.
Now, do you think they pick at 41?
I didn't know they picked at 41.
They got 9, 16, 28, and 41.
I think they trade all the picks for 1 player. He's not a running.
So let me run this by you real quick. So a few years ago, they trade up in the 2nd round. They don't pick Alex Brickbat, but they do pick Rasmus Haskin. That seems to have worked, even though people are mad they didn't.
No, first of all,
No,
I would see that with some of these ones.
I would have said don't let a guy like that slide too small, but whatever. But like I think that worked out very well for the Sabres so far. 2 years ago, and I generally don't like
time is now 7 o'clock, and David Adams is closed.
But
they're kicking
The time is now 7 o'clock, and David Adams is now closed.
Folks, thank you for watching
Let's
tonight.
show as soon as
No,
possible.
Austin,
We'll be able to get tomorrow between 11 and 7.
these quick answers, you can tell us. So again, I'll be back in September and look my here and there, and you guys will pop in on the Crank Up Summer. Again, thank you for watching. See us then broadcast. Start to get that ready. Click on the you've never seen this side. Click on broadcast. Okay, yeah. Okay. And everybody, have a great night. Go Sabres.